gosh, you're here. We're here. We're together. It's day one. It is day one, go one. First time this group has come together. The first time that this material is coming to you. The first time for so many things. Happy Monday, everybody. Hello. As folks start coming in, go ahead and drop a little note or a comment or put some little hearts up so that I know that you're here and that you're excited and that you're super pumped. Super pumped. Did you bring your guidebook? It's a PDF, and I wonder if I have it here. I do. I'll add it here in the comments, and you can go download it if you haven't yet. Hopefully you have it printed. I have mine here, and I've got my notes, and I'm all ready. Hi, Rachel. Hi, Raven. Hi, Kathleen. Yay. Oh, fun. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. I'm so excited to have you guys here. This is a huge deal for me. Bringing this material forward has been a calling of mine for, it's really been coming together in the last couple of months, but it's something that's been like bubbling under me for a really long time that I have wanted to share and connect around self-love and the path to divinity and being your, like, embracing that part of you that is divine, that goddess part of you that's so special and so unique to you. That part just fills me with pleasure and connects. I feel connected with people that way. I feel like this is my gift and my offering, and I'm really excited that so many people have turned up to engage with the material and touch it, and who are desiring that for themselves, right? So wanting to find that place in yourself for self-love, for making space for the sacred feminine, making space for your spiritual brilliance to shine through. So the next 5 days are our sort of stepping stones towards that, towards helping you experience more self-love and really talking about the things that are getting in your way, and some practical tools and techniques and reframes and things that you can use in your life to have a huge breakthrough. My goal for each and every one of you is to have a breakthrough this week. That is why I created the guidebook. That is why it's not filled out. This is to support you in connecting with the material and engaging with it and learning it. We know for a fact that people who write things down learn better. Kathleen is a teacher, and she can attest to that. We know that that's the case. So as you write things down, you're also manifesting things and reinforcing things, and it gives you a chance to really like chew on things and take them apart and see where in you is activated. That maybe something is like, oh, that's really true, or like, oh, I'm longing for that. But maybe something is also like, no, I think you're wrong. Like maybe there's a defense there. Maybe I am wrong, that I'm frequently wrong. I'm happy to be wrong. I love learning. Being wrong gives me an opportunity to learn. So if you find a place where I've made a mistake in the book, or you feel that like this isn't right for you, I really encourage you to honor that. The guidebook is lovely because you can write in it, not just the spaces where there's notes from the class, but also your own thoughts and feelings about it. The homework is also here to support you. That teacher part of me is like, and also that student part is like, I don't want homework. I just want to show up and like receive. But I know for a fact that when you engage with the material, you'll have a breakthrough. And if you just passively take it in, you're less likely to have a breakthrough, which is not my goal for you. My goal is for you to have a breakthrough. So the homework is to support that. To support you in supporting that and getting your goal, which is my goal, which is your goal, I'm running a couple of contests and giving some prizes out, which I'll talk more about as we're closer. So you know that we're running the contest right now, the referral contest. Whoever refers the most people to this group and they accept and join the group will receive a 30-minute Goddess Oracle reading from me. I hope you've seen the videos and taken advantage of the readings that I've done already for the group, and I'll probably continue to do those because that was really fun. I love connecting on that archetypal level and how those goddesses really speak to us, and yeah, how present they are for us today. So I'll probably do some more. Laura, you found us. Yay. Katya, I hope your phone survives it. Usually these work pretty well on phones, which is something I love about Facebook, is that it's like you're already here in the group, so we'll get it figured out. And then if you don't, I will post the replay pretty quickly. I'll also do a watch party, which is where I will be running the video, and also if you chat on it, I'll be able to respond because I'm watching it also. Which is really fun. It's like, well, I'll be watching myself, which won't be fun for me, but maybe it'll be fun for you. But that'll give me another opportunity to connect with you. So I'll be flipping through screens as I'm doing this, just as on a practical level for me, because I want to make sure that I hit everything that's in the guidebook so that we get to like exactly where we should be, so we don't miss anything. And so I'll be on another screen sometimes, and I won't be able to see the chat all the time. But I will come back and flip through the chat. And hi, Carrie. Hi, Cami. And so if you do make a comment, I'll come back. And so if you have a question, just post it, and I will get to it as soon as I can. Also, I'm going to do a space dedicated for Q&A on day 6, which will be, I think I'll do it on a Saturday. Maybe we can talk and see if I should wait until Monday. I don't know about you, but weekends tend to be a little crazy for me, and I actually have more control over my schedule on the weekdays. So we'll play it by ear. At this point, I'm planning on doing it on Saturday. It's not required. It's just another space to connect and get some questions answered. So we'll do that on day 6. Just to review the schedule, so today is I Am Not Unworthy, and we'll dive in here in just a minute, starting at 4:30, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday is at 4:30, Thursday and Friday, the classes are at noon, and I'm doing that because I have some clients coming in, and I don't have daycare situated for those days, so it just worked better on my schedule. So I will be rewarding you for coming to class on and coming live and doing the homework. And I'm trying to figure out, since I'm moving the classes on you, like I felt if I was consistent, if it was at like this day every day of the week, that I feel like I could better like reward somebody for that. I feel like since I'm moving it, then maybe that's not fair. So I'm trying to think if there's a way that I can make a prize for even doing the homework and the replay, watching the replay. So if you're not able to be live, which I know is the case for a lot of people because it's a funny time in the afternoon, that I'm gonna make something so that you can also participate in the contest, because I want to support you in doing the homework and in having a breakthrough this week. Okay, let's get started. So you are in the right place. You are in the right place if you are empathic, if you are sensitive, if you are sick of giving yourself away to others and putting yourself last. This is for you if you're feeling tired, you're sick of feeling unworthy, and you want to experience that exquisite goddess that maybe you suspect that you are, or maybe you know that you are, but you want to see more of her, more of that energy, more of that divineness in your life, and living it and manifesting it. This is for you. I'm so passionate about this work because I've been called sensitive and overly emotional. How many of you are overly emotional? Yeah. I sometimes feel like other people's energy is really overwhelming. I feel like I'm drowning sometimes. The truth is, so I thought that becoming a mental health counselor would help me manage my own feelings better and also be able to do what I love, which is helping people. After years of my own therapy, honestly, I wasn't a whole lot better. I used to pathologize everything. I had depression, I had complex post-traumatic stress disorder, and I really identified as the victim. And part of the problem with that is I had a therapist and she was like, you know, you're a victim, right? Like these things happen to you and they were really awful and you're a victim. And I was like, okay, she's got to be right. She's a professional, so I'm a victim. And at least it was an identity, whereas before I really didn't have much of an identity. I didn't know what I stood for. I knew what I was interested in, but I didn't know like how to relate to people unless if I was the teacher, the student, I was like good to go. But as far as like being in an equal relationship, sometimes even friendship relationships, I didn't know how to show up for people. And honestly, it wasn't until I began working with archetypes and in the unconscious and clearing out the blocks that were keeping me from pursuing my spiritual purpose and the truth of who I am, that's when everything changed. It wasn't cognitive behavioral therapy. That didn't help me. And for a lot of empaths, that is the case because we are using more of our functioning besides the cognitive part that's right up front. What about all the stuff in the back? What about this body here? That stuff is ignored in a lot of therapies to detriment. Certainly it was detrimental to me and a lot of the people that I work with, it's been detrimental to them. And so I realized I was aligning to a negative identity, that being a victim was not working for me. I suspect it's not working for you. And I needed a new one. When I discovered the word empaths, oh my gosh, you guys, I felt at home. Like there was a name for this kind of person that I wasn't to anything, right? That I could just be myself and excel in that. And I love serving my people who have maybe been on a similar journey than me, maybe a different one, and really helping people find the goddess within themselves, finding that spiritual brilliance. That's what we're here. That's what it's all about. So hopefully you printed your guidebook. You can just take notes otherwise. It'll be pretty clear when I'm having a fill in the blank moment. If you miss it, I will post it in a couple hours. It takes me a little time to process it, but I will post it. So if you miss it by hearing it, don't worry about it. I already talked about the contest. Awesome, let's get started. So our goal today is to unravel those negative beliefs that keep you stuck and unmotivated and doing the same thing over and over again. There's this question like, am I even worthy of divine self-love? Like, what is that even? What is divine self-love as we're talking about it? So there's self-love, which sometimes people confuse with narcissism. Narcissism is putting yourself first and not considering the needs of other people. Many empaths have been in a narcissistic relationship with somebody who was struggling with that. And it's a really common story and it's really painful. And part of it is that those kind of people gravitate to people that like being of service, that are really sensitive, that can read them like a book and anticipate their needs before they know they even have needs. We've like already taken care of it. It's like a setup almost, that the best parts of you are some of the stuff that may attract this kind of character. So I want to differentiate self-love as not that. That is narcissism. It's clinical. That's not what we're talking about. I'm wondering if a better word is self-fullness, not selfishness, self-fullness. This idea of being connected to what is full and true about you and also leaving space for other people. And so to me, divine self-love is that extending to yourself the same love and compassion that you would extend to a child or a goddess or a deity. You could say deity. Divine love is extending to yourself the same love and compassion that you would to a child or a goddess in that self-full way, not in a narcissistic way. Checking the comments. My mom is here. That makes me happy. Hi, Liz. Hi, Anu. Awesome. Okay. So looking on your homework on the guidebook, there are 3 mistakes that people who are sensitive like we are, that we make, thinking that we think these things are true and actually they're really getting in the way of us experiencing ourselves in the fullness. So the first mistake is that you must, God, I hear it all the time. Put some hearts in here if you've heard this before. You must love yourself before you can love other people. How many of you have gotten that advice, or worse, given that advice to somebody else? You must love yourself before you can love other people. As a spiritual person and somebody who is well trained in psychology, like, kills me, may I offer you a reframe? So the reframe to that is, the truth is relationships with others teach us how to love ourselves. We are never alone in our relationships. The very first relationship we have is with our mother in the environment of the womb. The moment we are conceived, we are in relationship. It makes no sense to me that you have to learn to love yourself first, because our first experience of love is the love of the mother taking care of herself in utero, and also when you are a baby and cannot do anything. And then the other people that come to be in your mother's life and in your life, your father, any other partners, sweethearts, grandparents, siblings, all of those people are teaching you what love is and how to love unconditionally. Now, we don't all get that correctly. I hate that word, but we don't all get that in the most healthy way, because there's a lot going on that our parents grew out of or grew through when we were babies. But our very first experience of love is through other people. So how could it possibly be true that you have to love yourself before you can love other people? Babies don't love themselves. They barely know they are a self, right? They come to know themselves through the love of other people. They come to differentiate themselves from the mother through her love of them, right? So how could it be true the other way? Okay, mistake number 2. The ultimate goal is to move beyond pain and suffering, right? As empaths, and I hear this a lot, and I've said it, I'm guilty. This belief that, like, if I'm hurting, I'm doing something wrong. I had a session recently with a dear friend of mine, and the lesson, she was really struggling with like that feeling of first thing in the morning and not wanting to get up and do things. And she works for herself, so if she doesn't want to get up and do things, she doesn't have to. Nobody's making her. On the other hand, she's not making the money that she wants to make. And so we did a session together, and she came to learn that the reason that she was having these feelings is not because she's broken, but that it's a cry for love. And so we reframe this belief that the ultimate goal is to move beyond pain and suffering. She was under the impression that if she's hurting, she must be broken. Or if she's hurting, there must be something wrong or wrong with her. And if we reframe that, the ultimate goal is to learn lessons about how to increase my capacity to handle joy and sorrow. The truth is, most of us, the reason we don't experience a lot of happiness is because we can't tolerate the same level of grief, or we're pushing down feelings that are difficult, like anger. We don't often have safe places to experience anger or grief, really any negative emotion, and having a safe place to do that really opens up and allows you to have more pleasure, more happiness, more joy, even ecstasy. You have to, like, honestly, throw me some hearts or some thumbs up. Have you ever experienced true ecstasy? Like, I'm talking, I'm like getting drunk with the wine god and running through the woods and tearing things asunder, losing yourself to a moment, right? Abraham Maslow, who we'll meet later in our work together this week, he talked about the penultimate goal is to experience ecstasy, to experience ourselves as perfect for 5 minutes at a time. And that's it. Everything else is about coming down to earth and being able to feel that. Another coach I follow, she talks about how you can only feel happy 50% of the time. And the other percentage of the time, you need to feel something else, because we are not wired to be happy all the time. Even drug addicts who are getting that high, looking for that, are wanting to be happy all the time. That's an illusion. That's an addiction, right? Being able to tolerate the discomfort. That is where lessons come from. That is where power comes from. And as you expand your capacity to feel difficult emotions, you will also expand your capacity to experience love and joy and prosperity, all of those things that you're desiring. Truth. Okay, let me check to see if there's any questions. Okay. We'll catch you on the replay. Mm-hmm. Good. Okay. The third mistake that empaths make: when I am living my spiritual purpose, I will get what I desire. When I'm living my spiritual purpose, I will get what I desire. There is this kind of love and life belief, ethos, zeitgeist. There's this zeitgeist out there that people who are suffering somehow deserve it because they're not thinking positively enough, that they're not being proactive and minding their thoughts, that they have attracted it to them, and that anything negative happening in your life is your fault because you are away from your spiritual desire. That kills me inside. The truth is, my life is a reflection of my spiritual values, and I must come into integrity with what is true. My life is a reflection of my spiritual values, and I must come into integrity with what is true. We are all different. We are all wired spiritually different. We all have different values and wants and needs. And to assume that all of ours is the same is foolish. I mean, I guess if you come down to it, like, don't we all want love, right? But we all experience love in different ways. There's even different love languages because we can't even decide what love is. And so we have to have somebody like define for us like what these different kinds are, because we miss it, even though we all want that. So manifestation comes from being in alignment with who you are, which sounds really easy, but is actually like the most difficult thing, because the truth is there is a part of me that is sad sometimes. And if I deny that, then don't make space for it, then I'm not going to be able to manifest. It's going to become a continued obstacle that gets in my way. And it's going to be something that I'm going to therapy about forever because I can't handle how sad I feel, instead of just making space for it. Because the truth is, I am a being who is sometimes sad, because that gives me connection, and that, you know, is a time for me to process, and maybe I need to not be giving myself away so much. So now instead of an obstacle, it's information, and I make space for that, and it's fine. Now sometimes it can get overwhelming, and then I need to get more help, right? Or I need to do the things like exercise or eat well, stuff like that, important stuff, you know, that are going to support that processing of that sadness. And the truth is, I'm a human being and I feel sad sometimes. And that's really important to acknowledge, that this belief that if I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do, somehow this is like written on a chalkboard. And if I can just find my chalkboard and it says Jamie Starr's purpose on this earth is to, and if I could just do that, everything will be fine. But the truth is, we get to have choices, and I get to say no to that, or I get to say not right now, which is really powerful and hard when you want something and you feel like a calling to it. A lot of suffering comes when you've done a lot of work and you can find that spiritual truth for you, and you're like, this is what I'm here to do. This feels so good. I'm doing my art. I'm doing my parenting. I'm expressing myself. And then when you can't do it at the level that you want to, that hurts so bad, in like this existential soul kind of way, because we feel like we have this truth and we have a responsibility to it. But manifesting in this world being in a body has limitations. Time is not infinite for us here right now. We can experience that sometimes. That's good stuff. So those are the 3 mistakes and the 3 reframes that I am offering to you. Let me just check in. What is the reframe for truth number 2? The ultimate goals are to learn lessons and how to increase my capacity to handle joy and sorrow. Oh yes, divine self-love. Divine self-love is extending to yourself the same love and compassion that you would to a child or a goddess. Or you could say divinity instead of goddess. That is a-okay with me. So we are made up of all of these parts of ourself, and figuring out what to do with them is really important. And learning about yourself and what is true for you so that you can align to that instead of the shoulda, woulda, couldas, the mandates and the zeitgeist that we're supposedly supposed to align to, or getting swept up in somebody else's emotions. When you know what's true for you, it's much easier to give things back to other people. If they're like, here, carry this emotion for me, which people don't say out loud, but somehow they expect us to do, right? Especially sensitive people. Often I'm like, why am I so angry and upset? And like, oh, I'm not angry, but that guy is. Why am I expressing it? That guy can express his own anger. That's fine by me. Or not. That's not my job. Okay. But coming to know yourself is the tool for learning to separate yourself from those emotions and to begin to see yourself as divine. So one of my favorite tools for coming to know yourself and to have some healing around these different parts of you is this tool. It's called the self-coaching model. I blatantly stole this. Okay, I didn't steal it. She said we could use it, but I want to give her credit. So it's from the Life Coach School. You can go to thelifecoachschool.com and actually get your own copy of the model. The model is a way of breaking down a thought and the things around thoughts so that you can experience some more truth and gain some insight into any situation. So if you're ever like, why do I do that? This is a perfect tool to figure it out. If you're like, I have this thought in my head all the time, this is a great way to break it down. And it's pretty simple, but it does take a little explaining. So let me support you in that. So on your guidebook, it's on page, I didn't number them. Next time I will number them. Under See the Truth, the self-coaching model, and it says the components of the model. So I'm going to go through those with you. Yeah. So as I'm talking, it'll fill in the blanks on the paper, but also I'm going to post what the blanks are. So if you missed hearing them, you can still write them down. Yeah, that's fine. I'm supporting all kinds of learners. Some folks are listening that are audio-visual people, and this is easy for them, and some folks process differently, and so it may be challenging to listen and write. And I'm trying to be like fairly explicit about like what the underlying ones are. At least I'll put you in the right section. So we're on the section of the self-coaching model. It's right next to the scrolly page. Okay, so the self-coaching model is broken up into different sections, C and T, F, A, R. And we're going to break those down for you. So the first one is a circumstance. A circumstance is a neutral fact that is observable. A neutral fact that is observable. This is really hard for people to connect with because we are used to putting our biases in our report of things. And so this is an exercise of like breaking parts down so that you can see your own biases. circumstances are behaviors, but they're not judgments about them. The events of your past are circumstances. So a circumstance, I have a really great example of this that I'm gonna break it down and show you how to use the model and thinking through what all of these parts are. But I want to help you fill this part out so that you can see all the components, and then I'm gonna put the components together. Does that make sense? Okay. So a circumstance is a neutral fact that is observable, including behaviors, but not our judgments about them. So a behavior might be, my husband got home from work. A judgment would be, my husband got home from work and he was really mad, or he was mad at me. Like, that's a judgment, right? A behavior would be, my husband came home from work and he shut the door loudly. A judgment, sorry, that would be a behavior. A judgment would be, my husband got home and slammed the door. Slammed is a judgment. The truth is, the circumstance is that it's loud. He closed the door loudly. That would be a neutral way, a neutral fact. If somebody was an alien from outer space and they knew nothing of our culture, how would they perceive what's happening? If they were Sheldon Cooper from the Big Bang Theory, how would they describe it as happening? That's circumstance. Okay. A thought is a sentence in your head about a circumstance. Any qualifier or judgment on a circumstance is a thought. And you will learn that not all thoughts are true. Part of this exercise is breaking them down so that you can see and test them and see if they're true or not. So if you're like, my husband came home and slammed the door, then he slammed the door is a thought, right? It's a judgment about the circumstance. Okay. A feeling is a vibration or sensation in your body caused by a thought. We often confuse thoughts and feelings. It's really automatic, and part of that is that they're since they're all in our body, we're sort of like, well, they must be the same. So like, I think I'm angry. I'm like, well, you're either angry or you're not. How can you think you are? Like, you're having a thought about being angry. Like, just be angry. So in order to identify feelings, I like to keep it super crazy simple, that there really aren't that many feelings. So happy, sad, angry, lonely, ashamed, scared. Tired is usually the same as sad, actually. It's just felt in a different area of the body. And anxiety is afraid of feeling the feeling. So anxiety is not a feeling by itself, it's a fear of the feeling. A lot of times when I do sessions with folks, when we drop into the anxiety, there's another completely different feeling underneath it. And they may be feeling sad or angry underneath that and are afraid that if they feel that, it will be too much and they have to edit themselves, and it is safer to be anxious than to actually feel the feeling. So when you're tuning into that vibration, you're going to come to learn like what your vibrations are. So some people like get afraid in their stomach, but they might shake all over. But for somebody else, they might feel shame in their stomach or fear, and they might feel anger all over. So you're going to come to learn what's true for you, and it may even change over time. You may experience the sensation of emotion differently, but it's important to know like what is true for you. Okay. An action is what your feelings cause you to do. Actions include things you decide not to do, so inactions, and reactions that feel automatic. So if we want a certain action but can't get it, it's because our thoughts and our feelings are not aligned. Most coaches focus on action and ignore the other parts of a person, which is no bueno, right? We have to include all of us. So an action is what your feelings cause you to do. Your actions include inactions and reactions. Okay. The result is the consequence of your action. So results add up and make habits, and those make patterns, and those make lifestyles. So if you're unhappy with something in your life, that's probably a result. For example, if you're not making the money that you want to make, that's a result. It's not a thought, right? That is a result. So the letters C, T, F, A, R. It's important that you write these, and you can do this at any time. So now that we know what the components are and we've broken them down, let me make sure that they are clear to you. Okay, I'm not seeing any questions about that. Perfect. We can fill it out. So let's take a look at the guidebook. You can literally do your homework right now if you want to. Practice the self-coaching model. Be very specific. So I actually wrote CTFAR down there for you. So we'll break it down, and I'm going to give you an example of what that might be. So start with something that you want to change, or something you want to figure out. So I want to figure out why I snap at my partner. So in this instance, snap at my partner is the action. It's the thing that's the result of a feeling or a thought. Like, I know that. I know it's not the circumstance, because snapping is not a neutral behavior. So I would write that under A for action, snap at my partner. And it's helpful, like, as things come up, you can write them. So these came up for me in this order, but they may come up for you in a different order. But we want to make sure we fill in the rest of the letters. So I snap at my partner, action. The result is we argue, my thoughts are challenged. And when I was thinking about this, I realized that actually when he argues with me, I actually feel closer to him. Like, it gives me some like attention, and it feels kind of nice. And I didn't realize until I thought about what the results were that that actually was helpful, because sometimes as we argue, we we get a little heated and we spend a little time on it. We spend some time together. So actually, like, this behavior, this action of snapping at my partner is actually giving me something. Okay, but the truth is, like, when he snaps at me or when I snap at him, I feel resentful and cross. So I put that under feelings, resentful and cross. And the thoughts I have around it under T, I'm too tired to be bothered with this. I'm the only one doing anything. I'm really annoyed. He's not doing shit. Those are the thoughts that go through my head. Those are the judgments. Put those under T. And then I was feeling into that. I'm like, what are the circumstances of snapping at him? And I came up with having a full schedule, not enough time for each other. Parenting is difficult at best, let alone when you're stressed, and not getting enough sleep. So as I'm thinking through them, they come in right out of order. They don't necessarily in your mind go in the order, but now they're all together, and I can start to undo those. So I know that the underlying thoughts and feelings and choices, now that I know what they are, I can change them. And you can change them using the 5 whys. And I started with the circumstance. The 5 whys are really simple. It's a way of deepening why you do something to get to a more like unconscious or true place. And it's really simple. You just ask why 5 times. I guess you could do it more. I've heard some people do it 7. I think 5 is enough, and 3 is not quite enough. Let me check and make sure there aren't any questions. Good job, Katya. I knew you could. Okay, so I started with like this circumstance, full schedule, parenting, not enough sleep. So I want to know why this is happening, because so we understand that, like, the circumstance is the root of the thought is the root of the feeling is the root of the action is the root of the result. So if I want to know, like, why do I snap at my partner, I need to go to the beginning, which is circumstance, and questioning that circumstance with the 5 whys. So in my example, why is my schedule full? Because I need to work. And these answers will make you go, durr. Of course my schedule is full because I need to work. Why do I need to work? Because I need to make money. Why do I need to make money? Because I need to contribute to the household and feel like an equal partner. Why do I need to contribute? Because I'm not doing enough in other areas. Why am I not doing enough? Because I'm naturally lazy, and if he finds out, he'll leave me. That was the core I got to on my 5 whys. And so now that I know that thought, because I'm naturally lazy, and if he finds out, he'll leave me. And now we add the second layer of deconstruction. Is it kind? Is it true? Is it necessary? This is how you're going to undo those negative beliefs. You're breaking it down. When I apply that, I'm naturally lazy, and if he finds out, he'll leave me. Is that kind? No, it's not kind to leave somebody. Need a pillow. It's not kind to leave somebody because they're not holding their end up. It's not kind to overdo something. It's not true. Like, I know that we're in a relationship and that we are dedicated to each other and that I feel pretty secure in this relationship. So it's not even true that he's going to leave me. And I'm not naturally lazy. I actually have a lot of fire in my chart, which I just discovered. I thought it was like really watery, but actually I have a lot of fire. It's not even true that I'm lazy. Like the moment I say that, I'm like, oh, that's not true. And is it necessary? Is it necessary to say negative things about yourself in order to motivate yourself? No, I can motivate myself with like positive things. Now I know what that baseline belief is. I can undo it. And actually, when you apply this, is it kind? Is it true? Is it necessary? It actually undoes really quickly. And then you're starting to want to think about like, well, then what is true? What is true? Well, the truth is, I love my job and I love being present for my family, and maybe I can do more to be present for my partner and do more to be present for myself so that I don't snap at him, because clearly I need some more sleep. So that's a space for me to enter into some self-love, because what seems like a circumstance that is beyond my control actually stems from a belief that I have control over now that I know what it is. Now you know the secrets. That's powerful. Do you see how powerful it is to be able to figure out something that you've been struggling with, break it down into its essential components, come to the truth of the belief about yourself, and then challenge that and come to discover it's a lie? How long did that take me? Not very long. So that's why it's part of your homework. So I want to hear what negative beliefs you're destroying. I want to know what you come to discover is not true. We're going to do some other work to continue to undo these negative beliefs, but now you can see how these negative beliefs lead to other problems, and they lead to problems that don't feel related to it at all. How does a fear that I am lazy and that a fear that my partner will leave me, how does that have anything to do with like snapping at him? Like you would think that if I was worried about those things, that I would be like so loving and good and I never snap at him, right? Which is like a different kind of freaking out. Like that's not healthy either, right? You can see that. As we break it down, we see how simple and untrue it is. So the more that you do these, the more you'll come to see like just how straightforward it is and how powerful it is to break down those thoughts. And it is an exercise. Like there is an exercise to it. Imagine just doing these with like your most troubling thoughts and how quickly you can have a breakthrough. I can't wait for that to you. I do want to talk a little bit more on distinguishing between thoughts and feelings, because it is critical. Knowing the difference between these two is critical to feeling better. So knowing that your thoughts cause your feelings can help you learn how to feel better without having to change your circumstances. Because even just adjusting one of the things in that method there is going to help you feel better and give you a different result. So here's a truth I would like you to like hold in your heart. And I don't think this, I'm pretty sure this isn't in the, it's not in the homework. It's not in the guidebook. Come back. Okay. Yes, the 3 gates are those 3 questions. Is it kind? Is it kind? Is it necessary? Is it true? And then on the following page, I found the origin of that phrase, which is not from the Buddha. And I see why people thought it was the Buddha, but actually it's from a poem from the like 1840s or something by a woman poet. So of course it's attributed to a man. Destroy the patriarchy. Okay, off topic. Okay, so here's a truth that I want you to like write in your heart. And you're gonna be like, nuh-uh. And that's okay. But we'll just start writing it and we'll see. No one can cause you to feel a certain way. Your thoughts about what someone did or didn't you is what causes you to feel something. No one is jumping into your body and like pushing the buttons and causing the vibrations that are your emotions. Your thoughts cause emotions. And your thoughts can be wrong frequently. So if your thoughts create your feelings, it means you can choose how you want to think and therefore how you want to feel. So it doesn't mean that you'll feel good all the time. And we talked about this already, because you feel bad about 50% of the time, and you feel good about 50% of the time. But when we are choosing to feel bad, at least we know that like we're doing it to ourselves and it's not somebody causing us to feel that way. We're going to undo this belief a little bit more, but I want to like pre-plant the seed in you that no one can cause me to feel a certain way, because my thoughts cause me to feel, and nobody's in here like pushing my buttons, even though it feels like it. Okay, why might somebody choose to feel bad? There are beliefs that we hold sort of sacred, and it has to do with the type of person maybe we feel like we should be, or we are wanting to be, or that we've decided that we are. So you may be the type of person that wants to be disappointed when your trust is betrayed. I think it sounds dramatic. Or heartbroken when your spouse cheats on you. Like you don't want to be someone that's cold to that, because that wouldn't feel true to who you are. Or devastated when your child is injured, right? We want to be the kind of person who feels that way. And part of being human means that there is good with the bad, and you'll likely want to feel bad when something you consider bad happens, right? It would feel weird, like dishonest or discordant, to feel good when something bad happens. And I'm not saying that we should strive for that. What I'm saying is it's not the circumstance or the person that's making you feel bad. It's your thoughts about it. And so when you say someone else makes you feel a certain way, that's you giving your power away. And in my experience, other people are really bad at managing us and making us feel the way that we want to feel. So this is another reason to be thankful that you are responsible for how you feel. All you have to do is change your thoughts. And we don't even have to change the circumstance. We could just change the thoughts, and that's going to change how you feel. There's a really big difference between I think that the world is a dangerous place and I can't handle it, and the feelings that come from that, versus the world is not good or bad, but I can choose how to interact with it. That's a totally different feeling. The truth is, terrible things do happen out there, but the belief, the thought, they happen all the time, or they happen to me, or I'm responsible for them. Those are thoughts, and they do control our beliefs pretty directly. So we can't change them. Powerful. Okay, that's what I've got for you today, and I didn't go over time, which is amazing. I deserve a high five. Okay, beautiful. So that's our lesson for today. Awesome. So the homework is, what new belief will you hold for yourself going forward? So use that self-coaching model. Be very specific, and checking to make sure that your thoughts and feelings are in different categories, right? That the vibration, the sensation of the feeling. You might even get more specific and describe exactly what it feels in your body. So you may say, I feel a heavy weight on my chest, which is sadness, right? Whatever's true for you, that may help you differentiate the vibrations in your body, the feelings, from the thoughts or the judgments. Any judgment you have about it is going to be a thought. Okay, that was a lot today. You guys like took in a lot of information. I even have like time for questions if anyone has a question. Yeah. Lovely. So go ahead and type in a question if you have it. Actually, type in your biggest takeaway from today. I don't know, not everybody made it for everything, but go ahead and just type in your biggest takeaway, and if you have a question, you can type that down. The post to the group is the homework. What new belief will you hold for yourself going forward? And everything that I ask of you, I will post very soon. So you'll see that on the Facebook page. So there'll be a thread for the homework. If you want to be considered for the contest, then you need to post your response in that homework thread. Because if I have to go looking for it, I'm never going to find it. Like, help a girl out. Just post it there. And that'll be up shortly, as will the answers to the guidebook. And I do wait for a little while because I want to give people a chance to look at it. Although I guess if you just wrote them in, like, that'd be fine too. But I want to encourage you to like listen to the class and also fill in the guidebook. A feeling and emotion are the same. Yeah, because you might consider feeling as like the sensation or the vibration in your body. Emotion is the simple, like happy, mad, sad. I'm like frad. No, afraid. Ashamed. They almost rhyme. They don't quite. Come on, English, get with the program. The new reminder of the three gates, yeah. And that poem that goes along with it is really nice too. How do you separate a thought from a circumstance if it is a circumstance you cannot control? Laura, can you give an example? Are you still here? Type it in real quick. The circumstance is going to be like crazy neutral. If an alien came down from space and looked at what was happening, it's also things that happened to us in the past. So like a circumstance for me is that I was in a domestic violence relationship when I was 12 and 13 years old. That's a circumstance. And so that affects like how I experience some things. So certainly how I did before, I'm much better now, but that's part of my like PTSD. So the way that I view the world, like that's part of my circumstance. The fact from this age to this age, I was in a domestic violence relationship. And it is beyond control, right? The circumstance is just what is present. It has nothing to do with control. The measure of control is a thought. So the circumstances, I was in an abusive relationship. The thought about it is it's beyond my control. That's actually a thought, even though that thought is true. Does that make sense? Not every thought is a lie. Some thoughts are true. Some judgments are accurate. And it's important to see that. And when you apply, is it kind? Is it true? Is it necessary? It's true. Capital T. Does that answer your question? Awesome, Tammy. That's a big one. Yeah. And I thought that too. You have to love yourself first, but the truth is we are not wired that way. And what a relief. Leslie, I do not want to give my power to someone else. I am responsible for my emotions. Yes, and I can suck at it. I am allowed to suck at being good at my emotions. And I'm allowed to suck at giving my power away because it's something that I'm working on. I want to give you that graciousness, right? You are in charge, but also like it's okay to not be very good at it. I never took a class on that. So becoming a therapist is a bachelor's degree, a master's degree of 2 years or longer, and then I did about a year of internship. So in all that time, I never once took a class on how to be responsible for my emotions. But I know better now. Oh, Laura, so my husband lost his job and I'm freaking out about it. So the circumstance is my husband is no longer employed at X, or my husband is out of work. Uh, Freaking out is the emotion, right? So that's fear, probably. Maybe some anger, sadness, like it could be a lot of things. Some anxiety, the fear of feeling it. Um, the thought, it's out of my control, is a thought, and it's fine if it's true. Yeah. You can, you're going to have other thoughts about it that you can untangle. So you don't have to untangle every one of them because some of them are true. Wait, what the three gates help us to find the ones that are not true, or like the conclusions that we come to that are not true. They help us undo those. No one can cause me to react or act in a certain way. Go, Kathleen. When we know that, like you can feel really settled, you know, and when you have the space and you know that like my thought is not my feeling and that my thoughts are not always true. I mean, the point of meditation is allowing those thoughts to like pass like clouds, and being able to like analyze them is awesome. Good. Okay, I'm glad you got there. Yeah, that'd be a good one to do. Like the hotter it is, like the more powerful it could be too. Yeah, and if you're having trouble, so on the homework thread, if you're having trouble with your with using the method, pop it in there and I'd be happy to help you. Or you can Facebook me. Yeah, I'd love to get a message and help you through that. It's a lot of information to take in because you have to know the little components. And then you're like, oh, that's easy. And then as you apply it, you're like, wait, which one is that? Like, where do I start? And you can start anywhere, right? Like they start filling themselves in as you explore it. Yeah, just putting your thoughts in order. What an exercise. Kathleen, no one can cause me to act a certain way in a classroom. Oh yeah, that's your challenge. Oh, children. Oh, and like teaching them some of these things, that'd be really powerful. It'd be really cool. We're right about time. I hope this was lovely for you and that you've learned something and feel more empowered each and every day. Yeah. The answers will come. They will be there on Facebook. I actually pre-put them there, so I get to go home and relax and just respond and connect. Have a beautiful day, and I will see you tomorrow at the same time where we are doing day 2, I am not a victim. Yummy! Okay, I can't wait to talk to you guys some more. Absolutely contact me. Let's connect. If you're struggling with the homework, I think it's easiest just to do the homework when it's fresh. So 10-10 recommend doing it as soon as you can. And if folks can still join the challenge, probably until tomorrow. I wouldn't want someone to get overwhelmed and be like, I'm so behind. So keep inviting people. If you know anybody that could benefit from this, or you feel like you want to share this with them, invite them to the group, have them come in, download the homework, do it together. Good times are had by all. Win the contest. All right. I love you guys so much. Thank you for coming today, and I will talk to you tomorrow.